Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Homefront. It's a Jason Statham vehicle that is written by Sylvester Stallone, but not starring, and the villain is played by James Franco, and that was pretty much the reason I wanted to see this movie, because it seems such an odd assemblance of people, and it boasts being the only Sylvester Stallone written film that he actually doesn't star in, although he does produce it as well. DEA agent Phil Brooker, who, after he was undercover bringing down a meth-making biker gang called the Outsiders, and ends up taking them down and being in an altercation that ends up killing the head biker guy's son, he goes to Louisiana to kind of hide out and get away from being a lawman or whatever, and his daughter gets in an argument with this kid at school, and that kid's uncle is James Franco, who's Gator, who is a meth dealer in that region, tries to show Jason Statham and his daughter to not mess with his family, and then finds out he is this undercover DEA agent and tries to turn him in so that he can get bigger distribution for his meth product to take him down so he can become a bigger meth dealer. I guess there are actually two reasons I want to see this. First, because of its kind of odd assemblance of people in a Jason Statham movie. It just seemed odd to me. Apparently Stallone wrote this and intended it for himself, but then he got too old and decided not to do it. And it's actually based on a book by Chuck Logan, and this character that Statham's playing is in a series of books, which is actually kind of similar to Jason Statham's last, at least his last wide release film, Parker. And the James Franco thing I thought was odd, that why would James Franco, who's a much bigger star than Jason Statham, be the villain in a Jason Statham movie? And then I was like, Winona Ryder's in it. Also, I kind of have a weird thing for action movies that open Thanksgiving weekend, and last year I didn't get one. I guess I get fucking Red Dawn. Whether it's Faster or Ninja Assassin, every Thanksgiving they release a very testosterone action movie. None of them particularly end up doing well. I always kind of see them and they never end up being that good either. The whole reason to see this is to kind of see a different kind of Jason Statham movie, and I feel like his choice of directors, I don't know if it's his choice or the projects he's worked on, are people who aren't really action directors. Taylor Hackford, who did Parker, was like the director of Ray and then An Officer and a Gentleman, and isn't really an action director. And the guy who did this is Gary Felder. He actually was a pretty good TV director in the 90s. He directed one of my favorite Homicide: Life on the Streets episodes, The Subway. And he's not really a great action director either. This is just kind of a standard action picture, a regular kind of Jason Statham movie. As I've seen many of these kind of genre action films that members of the Expendables make, other than The Last Stand, which I enjoyed quite a bit actually, most of them are just like a lot of pieces short of being like kind of a unique genre film, and just end up being just kind of a standard crappy genre film. And I thought this had more potential than most of them. Bullet to the Head was one where it's like, oh, Walter Hill's back with Sylvester Stallone. That's like two reasons for me to see a movie. And it didn't turn out to be that good, although it did have some unique things about it. And I feel the same thing about Homefront, where, yeah, it's the first film Stallone's written that he's not starring in. And you have James Franco as the villain, and Winona Ryder, Kate Bosworth as well, but who cares about her? Franco, Winona Ryder, and more so Franco really, are the only people who act like he's having fun while making this. It always just feels like Statham's there to get the paycheck and make his standard movie and go home, and he doesn't want to think about it. I wish he had a little fun with Franco. The thing with James Franco, I don't really have any problem with him, because the more people have a problem with him not behaving like a normal Hollywood star, and I like that he doesn't do that, because like Spring Breakers, certainly his performance in Spring Breakers, there's very few people who would actually do something like this or be on Days of Our Lives. Franco's never played a villain in an action movie before. I mean, maybe if you count Spider-Man 3. There are a lot of scenes where it's like it looked like he was actually playing, like he was having fun, and Statham never does that. That's something that makes action movies a lot more enjoyable, when you have somebody who actually, you can tell, is having fun, and Franco kind of actually does that. I would actually say it's one of my more favorite genre action villains I've seen this year, at least. Certainly Aileen is kind of his true like great supporting role this year, and he doesn't get as into this as he did with that. Everyone in this movie has kind of like a fake Southern accent. They couldn't actually get anyone Southern to be in this movie in Louisiana. I noticed action movies have this weird version of Americana. It's like movie American South rather than the real American South. Not that I expect reality from Homefront. It always feels like someone who's never been to Louisiana's version of Louisiana. It really does feel like these are made for the foreign box office, because they're like, oh, they won't know, who cares? Winona Ryder and James Franco, because Winona Ryder Ryder said she just wanted to do something different when this was offered to her, and she thought it would be a cool idea. And I feel like all the villains in this film were actors who were like, oh, I never get offered stuff like this, why not? And it's like such an odd idea for Franco and Winona Ryder and Kate Bosworth to be in a movie like this supporting Jason Statham. There's more fun going on through the villains, and they're more interesting to watch than Jason Statham's standard plot line of being Jason Statham in a Jason Statham movie. And that's where at least a little bit of fun comes from this movie. But the problem is it's so standard action, and that the action sequences, especially at the beginning, are fairly awfully edited and shot. Like, he's just not an action director. It's a standard action genre film, but the action sequences aren't good. So it's like, what are you left with? This kind of ends up being an odd fascination rather than an actually good movie. There are certain action sequences that work out where Jason Statham fights those guys at the gas pump, and then kind of later, some of those are all right. This is just really a standard Jason Statham movie. It's far better than Parker, which was awful, but it's not directed in an interesting way. It's not going to completely satisfy you action-wise, but as a kind of crappy Thanksgiving action film, I'm kind of okay with it for whatever reason. There's so many action genre films I've seen from guys who were in the Expendables this year, and every time I'm like, if only like Walter Hill did this. Instead of like a Walter Hill movie that didn't quite work because clearly the studio fucked with it, I wish he had done this, and there were just one that was like exceptionally good. And I feel like Bullet to the Head and even Escape Plan, all those, they're fine ideas and they could be fine genre films, but I just wish there was some fun to the direction. We have people like Justin Lin now who there's a reason I guess they get to do the big action movies and these guys get to do the shitty genre films. It just offers an odd performance by James Franco, who looks like he's having fun. And that's really about all it has to offer, but that's not really what you're going to see a Jason Statham movie for. So if you've seen Homefront and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments and subscribe if you would like to.